Imagine looking at someone and seeing a number floating above their head. Not their age, not their birthday, the exact date they're going to die. Now imagine you can't turn it off. Welcome to Earth-4845, where death isn't a mystery, it's an appointment. In this world, every human is born with the ability to see death dates. Not just other people's, your own too. The numbers appear around age 5, when your brain develops enough to process them. Imagine being a child and looking in the mirror to see your expiration date staring back at you. That's just a normal childhood milestone for them, right between learning to read and losing your first tooth. The science is fascinating. Humans in this world evolved with an additional sensory processing center in the visual cortex. It somehow reads biological patterns, environmental factors, future choices. Their scientists still debate the exact mechanism. What they do know is that the dates are remarkably accurate. The countdown updates in real time based on your choices. Decide to take a different route home? The number might shift by a few days. Start smoking. Watch years disappear. It's not fate. It's a prediction based on probability, which somehow makes it worse, because you know you could change it, but you also know you probably won't. The dates aren't set in stone. Make healthier choices. Your number goes up. Take up base jumping, it drops. Get into a car. Sometimes it flickers, showing the statistical danger of that specific drive. This creates an obsessive culture of optimization. Some people constantly monitor their numbers, adjusting every decision to maximize their countdown. Others ignore the numbers completely, living in deliberate denial. And then there are the number chasers, people who make it a game to see how high they can get their count. The current record holder is at 127 years. She's 32 years old and lives in a padded room. Growing up in this world is psychologically complex. Most children start seeing the numbers around age 5. Imagine being in kindergarten and suddenly realizing that your teacher only has 847 days left, that your grandparents' number is in double digits. Their education system had to evolve around this. Every school has mandatory death awareness counseling. Children learn that the numbers are natural, that everyone has one, and that seeing someone with a low number doesn't mean you should treat them differently. Teachers are trained to watch for kids who become fixated on their own numbers. Depression rates among children who see short countdowns are not great. Some kids with high numbers develop survivor's guilt. Others become reckless, assuming they're invincible. The education system basically teaches kids to see death dates, the way we teach kids about stranger danger. Acknowledge it exists, but don't let it consume your entire childhood. But teenagers make everything worse. High school in this world includes a unique form of cruelty. Number shaming. Kids with low numbers get treated like they're already ghosts. Nobody wants to invest in a friendship that has a timer. Dating is brutal. Imagine asking someone out and they glance up at your number first. You can literally watch them calculate whether you're worth the emotional investment. There's also the opposite problem, number envy. Some kids with high numbers get resented, accused of being privileged, of having an easy life ahead, as if having 60 years of consciousness guaranteed is somehow unfair to someone with 40. Spoiler, both groups are miserable. Romance in this world requires a level of courage we can't imagine. Every relationship starts with both people knowing exactly how much time they have together. Marriage vows are different. They don't say "till death do us part," because they know when that will be. Instead they say, "for all your days," or until your number reaches 0. It sounds romantic until you realize one person is always signing up to be a widow or widower. Some people refuse to date anyone with a significantly different countdown. They want to die around the same time, avoid the grief. This creates bizarre social stratification. The 20 years left dating pool, the 50 years left single scene. Other people specifically seek out partners with short countdowns. They want to love intensely for a brief time, rather than slowly for decades. These relationships burn bright and fast. Every moment precious because the clock is literally ticking above both their heads. Then there's the ultimate relationship test, when one person's number suddenly drops. A diagnosis, an accident. Suddenly your partner has 5 years instead of 50. In our world, couples face this uncertainty together. In their world, there's no uncertainty, just a countdown that both people watch, helpless. Some relationships end immediately. The emotional weight is too much. Others become stronger. Every day a conscious choice to stay, despite knowing the cost. And here's the thing that'll mess you up. They have lower divorce rates than us. When you know your time together is limited, you waste less of it fighting over dishes. The job market is fascinating and horrifying. Employers can see exactly how long you'll be able to work. That 22-year-old with only 15 years left. Good luck getting hired for a career track position. Companies prefer employees with high numbers, better return on training investment. This created massive discrimination lawsuits, leading to laws prohibiting countdown-based employment decisions. But everyone knows it still happens. You can't stop someone from glancing up. Insurance companies basically don't exist. Why insure someone when you know when they'll die? Instead, they have countdown verification services that confirm your number for financial planning purposes. Retirement planning is wonderfully simple, though. You know exactly how much money you need to save. Some people with short countdowns never bother. Others with long ones panic about outliving their savings. Dangerous professions are interesting. Soldiers, firefighters, police officers. They all watch their numbers drop when they're on duty, then rise when they're off. Some people are addicted to the fluctuation. They need to see their number dance, proving they're alive, taking risks, making a difference. These are often the people with the highest numbers who feel guilty about their longevity and want to earn it. Others choose the safest possible careers: accountants, librarians, desk jobs, anything that keeps their number stable. These are usually people who started with lower countdowns and are desperately trying to squeeze out every possible day. The economy essentially split into two career paths: the number preservers and the number gamblers. Medicine evolved completely differently. Doctors don't diagnose through symptoms. They watch your number drop and investigate why. A patient comes in feeling fine, but their countdown suddenly decreased by 20 years? Time to scan for cancer. Someone's number flickering rapidly. They're having a stroke right now, even if they don't feel it yet. This makes healthcare incredibly efficient and incredibly depressing. Doctors become numb to watching people's countdowns tick away in real time. They can see exactly when their interventions work. The number goes up, and when they fail, the number accelerates downward. Terminal illness isn't a surprise. You watch the countdown drop from decades to years to months to days. Everyone dies with full awareness, watching their final hours tick away. Some call this a gift. Time to say goodbye, settle affairs, make peace. Others call it torture, forced to watch your own death approach with mathematical precision. Mental health treatment is built entirely around countdown anxiety. Therapists specialize in helping people cope with short numbers, long numbers, fluctuating numbers, and the terror of watching your own timer. There are support groups for every countdown range. Under 5 years groups focus on acceptance and meaning making. Over 50 years groups deal with guilt and purpose. Flickering number groups help people whose countdowns change dramatically based on daily choices. The suicide rate isn't actually higher than ours. Turns out, when you know you have time left, you're less likely to end it early. But there's a phenomenon called countdown acceleration. People engaging in risky behavior to make the number drop faster because the wait is unbearable. They had to create laws against countdown manipulation services, companies that promise to lower your number through extreme sports packages or dangerous adventures. The black market still exists. Crime gets philosophically messy. If someone murders a person who only had 3 days left anyway, is that better or worse than killing someone with 50 years remaining? Their legal system had to address this. Life value is calculated partially by remaining countdown. Killing someone with decades left carries harsher punishment than someone with days. This created massive ethical debates. Is a life worth less because it's shorter? Murderers often target people with low numbers, claiming they're doing them a favor. Mercy killings of people who were dying soon anyway. The courts don't agree, but the public is divided. Then there's premeditated murder, where the killer watches the victim's number and strikes at the perfect moment. Assassination becomes a waiting game. Strike too early and waste potential. Strike too late and they die naturally, robbing you of whatever sick satisfaction they wanted. Detective work is easier though. Someone murdered with a high countdown? Definitely foul play. Low countdown? Could be natural, but the number's fluctuation before death tells the story. Sentencing becomes an ethical puzzle. If someone commits a crime but only has 2 years left to live, does a 5-year sentence even make sense? Some judges reduce sentences based on remaining countdown, arguing that taking someone's last few years is crueler than taking years from someone with decades left. Others maintain that justice should be blind to the numbers, that crimes deserve equal punishment regardless of how much time the criminal has. This creates bizarre situations where 2 people commit the same crime but receive different sentences based purely on their biology. One has 40 years left, gets 10 years in prison. The other has 8 years left, gets 3 years instead. The public debates constantly. Is this compassionate justice or countdown discrimination? Should your remaining time affect your punishment, or is equality more important than mercy? There's no good answer. Just a legal system trying to figure out fairness when everyone's playing with a different amount of time on the clock. Of course, there's a massive black market around countdown manipulation. People desperate to hide their numbers buy special contact lenses that blur the digits for others. Doesn't work on yourself though. You always see your own number clearly. There are scam treatments promising to increase your countdown. Add 10 years with this supplement. Most are fake. Some are dangerous, ironically decreasing your countdown by poisoning you. Countdown addiction is real. Some people become obsessed with watching other people's numbers, unable to hold normal conversations because they're too busy calculating everyone's remaining time. They call them number gazers. People who've lost the ability to see humans, only seeing expiration dates. Then there's countdown denial. People who wear blindfolds in public, keep their eyes closed around others, live in complete isolation to avoid seeing any numbers at all, including their own. They're trying to live like us, in blessed ignorance. It never works. You can't unsee your own number. It's burned into your consciousness. The worst moment in this world isn't death itself. It's the sudden drop. You wake up and your number has decreased by decades overnight. Maybe it's cancer you don't know about yet. Maybe it's an accident that's now inevitable. Maybe the prediction algorithm detected a choice you're about to make that will ruin everything. Some people immediately rush to doctors for scans. Others change their entire lives, quit jobs, leave relationships, move countries, desperately trying to make the number go back up. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it makes things worse. There's a phenomenon called drop psychology, the specific mental state of watching your future dissolve. Support hotlines exist specifically for people experiencing sudden countdown decreases. And the cruelest part? Sometimes the number drops and you never find out why until the moment it happens. But it's not all darkness. This world has unexpected beauty. People don't waste time. When you know you have 30 years left, you make them count. Fewer people stay in toxic relationships or soul-crushing jobs. They pivot faster, love harder, speak more honestly. Goodbyes are perfect. In our world, we lose people suddenly, words left unsaid, relationships unresolved. In their world, as your countdown enters its final days, everyone knows. Families gather, apologies are made, love is expressed. They call it the final week phenomenon. When someone's number drops below 7 days, society collectively supports them. Strangers are kinder. Enemies reconcile. Everyone wants the dying person's last days to be meaningful. Some people with low countdowns become celebrities, countdown influencers who document their final months, sharing wisdom, perspective, acceptance. Their followers watch the number decrease, learning how to face mortality with grace. And sometimes, rarely, but sometimes, the number goes up significantly. A lifestyle change, a medical breakthrough, a choice that adds years. These moments are celebrated like birthdays. Imagine getting sober and watching your countdown increase by 15 years. Deciding to leave an abusive relationship and gaining back a decade. Starting to exercise and seeing days add up in real time. It's proof that you're not trapped by fate. Your choices matter. The countdown isn't a sentence, it's feedback. Some people dedicate their lives to helping others increase their numbers. Doctors, therapists, activists working on public health. They can literally see their impact. Save someone's life. Watch their number jump. It's the most rewarding career feedback possible. In a weird way, they have more hope than us. We don't know if our healthy choices matter. They do. They watch the evidence appear above their heads every single day. Their philosophers have debated the same question for centuries. Where do the numbers come from? Is it biological prediction? Quantum probability? Divine knowledge? Future sight bleeding backward through time? Nobody knows. The numbers are accurate, but the mechanism is a mystery. Some believe in determinism. The numbers prove the future is fixed. Free will is an illusion. Others argue the opposite. The numbers change based on choices, proving free will exists and matters. Religious groups split into two camps. Those who see the numbers as God's divine plan, and those who see them as a test of faith. Will you live righteously even knowing your time is short? The most disturbing theory is the observer effect paradox. What if seeing the number creates the death date? What if they're dying because they believe they will, and their belief manifests reality? This theory is unprovable and deeply unsettling. If true, they've collectively trapped themselves in a self-fulfilling prophecy that spans all of human history. So here's the question that keeps their philosophers up at night. Which world is better? They know about theoretical universes where death dates aren't visible. They've imagined our world, where people live in uncertainty, where death comes as a surprise. where hope and denial are possible. Some of them envy us. They fantasize about not knowing, about being able to pretend they're immortal, about relationships without timers, about living without the weight of mathematical mortality. Others pity us. They see our uncertainty as torture. How do we make plans without knowing how much time we have? How do we prioritize without death's deadline? How do we live with the anxiety of not knowing? And here's what'll really mess with you. They're looking at our world the way we're looking at theirs, wondering if the grass is greener, if ignorance is really bliss, if knowing would be better or worse. Now think about yourself, right now, reading this. If you could see your death date, would you look? Would you want to know? Some of you immediately said yes. You'd optimize your life, make every moment count, prioritize what matters. Others said no. The anxiety would be unbearable. You'd rather live in uncertainty. But here's the thing. You already have a countdown. You just can't see it. Somewhere in the fabric of probability and biology and future choices, there's a date. The day you'll take your last breath. It exists whether you can see it or not. So the real question isn't, would I want to see my death date? The question is, am I living like someone who knows their time is limited? Because it is. We all know this. We just have the luxury of pretending otherwise. In their world, a person with 50 years left is considered fortunate. In ours, 50 years feels like forever, until suddenly it doesn't. They live every day aware of the countdown. We live every day in denial of it. Which approach is healthier? Honestly, nobody knows. Maybe the truth is that consciousness itself is the curse. Aware enough to know we're temporary, but not aware enough to know exactly how temporary. We're trapped between their certainty and complete ignorance. Or maybe, just maybe, the real gift isn't knowing or not knowing. It's the choice to live fully regardless. So here's my challenge to you. Live today like someone who just saw their countdown drop by 10 years. What would you change? Who would you call? What would suddenly matter? Now do those things anyway. Because you don't need to see a number to know the truth. Your time is finite. Your moments are numbered. And every day you wake up is a day closer to the last one. The only difference between us and them is awareness. They can't avoid it. We can't escape it either. We just get better at hiding from it. Maybe that's our superpower. Or maybe it's our tragedy. In another world, everyone knows when they'll die. In this world, you're living on borrowed time you never knew you borrowed. Which world would you choose? And more importantly, how will you spend the time you have, regardless of whether you can see the countdown? The clock is ticking. It always has been. The only question is what you'll do before it reaches zero. If this changed how you think about time, subscribe for more reality-bending thought experiments. And tell me in the comments, if you could see your death date, would you look? Or would you cover your eyes? Either way, make today count. You don't know how many you have left.